heavier stuff will be moving through overnight tonight. That's going to drag into the commute tomorrow morning. So plan on rain this time of the day.
Good morning. Give everyone a chance to join us as we step out of the studio and say hi, happy Tuesday. If you are just waking up this morning, good morning. Doesn't feel too bad out there. It's chilly, obviously. It's December, but it's not as cold as it was yesterday. It was like frosty yesterday morning. Here's Gil in weather right now. If you turn on Good Morning Connecticut, you'll get that. And Alyssa, thankfully, things are quieter for her on the roads today. It was so sad to say that the update on that West Hartford crash yesterday on 84 that had it shut down for most of the morning, sadly was deadly. So we do have an update on that in our newscast this morning. I want to let you know what we're covering this morning, but then also we have a few special pieces airing today as well. So we do have the update on the crash for you this morning. We do have an update on the Farmington School Board. They actually went back to the drawing when it comes to some religious holidays off. So there were some questions about two Jewish holidays, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah. Also, the Hindu community is pushing for Diwali off. So there was some pushback about taking those off. The school board reinstated two of them, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, and it looks like they are going to continue talks to get Diwali as a day off as well on the school calendar. So we are continuing to follow that for you, but we do have that update for you. A big loss, sadly, for Sikorsky. Stanford-based Sikorsky, unfortunately, missed out on a $1.3 billion contract to replace some aircraft that the Army thinks may actually replace its Black Hawk helicopters. Looks like that contract went to a Texas company, Bell is what the name of the company is. So this is not good news for Connecticut. Our economy also, obviously that's a lot of jobs that were on the line there for that. We have Kent Pierce live this morning with what this decision means and how it will really impact us here in Connecticut. We also have some remarks from the governor on that. We are following this race in Georgia. Georgia voters heading back to the polls for the runoff election this morning. Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker, the former football star, facing off in a runoff election. Again, this is not going to change the party majority, but it is a hotly contested race, and it's been very controversial. So we'll be watching that for you this morning. We do have that. We do have a couple. Oh, and of course, I forgot to mention, Kirstie Alley sadly died. So that's one of our big stories this morning too. You may remember her. She starred in Cheers. There she is behind me, actually. See, she died from cancer at the age of 71, and from what we've heard, that she was only recently diagnosed. So a very brief battle with cancer sadly took Kirstie Alley's life. You may remember her for a time on Cheers. She was also in Drop Dead Gorgeous, and I loved her in Look Who's Talking. It was such a great movie, so she will be missed. She was a very talented actress, and just had a very unique way about her. So I just feel sad to have seen that first thing this morning. But we are mourning the loss of Kirstie Alley this morning, age of 71. A couple special pieces that we have for you. Your What's Right with Schools. We are actually taking a trip to Wethersfield this morning. And I can't wait for this, because if you like the sounds of the season, you are going to love this story. So in our 6 o'clock hour, make sure you're watching. We're taking a trip to Wethersfield, and you're going to hear a really nice group of very talented students and what they're working on. And yes, they are earning school credits this way, but it's also a way to lift spirits, make spirits bright in the community, and here on News 8 this morning. So can't wait for that. Also, Keith has a special piece airing this morning on fentanyl. He's actually, taking a look at who's getting it, how it's getting into the wrong hands, and efforts to combat it. So fentanyl, very dangerous drug that has sadly caused way too many overdoses in communities really across the state. It's also happening in other states as well, but but it is a very, very lethal drug, and it really needs to be taken a hard look how it's getting here, who's getting it, and how we can beat it. So make sure you check out that story in our 6 o'clock hour as well. And when we come back, I have a stretcher dollar for you. If you are in the market for a new car, you want to do that soon. I know it's the holidays, it's a very expensive time of year, you have a lot to do. I know you have a lot to do year-end, tax-wise, and all of that too. But there is reason to put focus on buying a car if you are in a market. You can certainly get the most bang for your buck if you buy a car in December. It's just one of those, it's just always the way, because if you think about it, makes sense. They're looking to clear the lots before the new year. All right, listen, I am going to go, but Keith, I was just mentioning your special piece that you have on fentanyl and
I think it's going to be interesting to a lot of people. I think the one among the takeaways is that it's a crisis not only in poor communities, but wealthy communities as well, and just the scope of the crisis, I think, is going to be shocking to people.
Yeah, it can impact any family.
Yeah.
I know I've spoken with a couple this year who have been impacted, and parents really want to know too about what the warning signs are as well, how to combat it. And I know you're tackling that issue. So, all right, that's in our 6 o'clock hour, along with What's Right with Schools. All right, let me know how your week is going, and I will have that stretcher dollar for you after the break. So go ahead and turn on Good Morning Connecticut. We would love to see you. Have a great morning, everyone.